Good morning. This is 10:30. We're expecting a couple people from IDOT, but they're already driving from out of
This
town.
conference will now be recorded.
So they got into the traffic. And so if you don't mind, we can wait for them for a few more minutes. Thanks. Turn off the sound. All right. We'll call the meeting to order for January 17th. Our Transportation Technical Committee. We do have a quorum, and we MCRPC also have a few new planners that I would like to have them introduce themselves. And one of them was here when he was going to grad school, and so you might have seen him. But I'll maybe start from Jake and then come this way.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jake Versary, and I'm a new assistant planner at MCRPC.
And you move here all the way from the West Coast.
Yeah, I drove here from California like last week, so
Wow.
yeah, it's a bit of a weather shock for sure.
Hi everyone, my name is Luke Talavera. So I did my summer internship here back in the summer 2023. So you may or may not have seen me before. I graduated. I got my master's for urban planning from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and I'm one of the new community planners.
Good morning, my name is Anthony Bauman. I'm also one of the new community planners here. Graduated from ISU the last year and a half. I was with Peoria County with planning and zoning out there.
Just for the benefit, maybe you can go around the room too, because then when they help to do the minutes and do other things, they recognize who's who. They know me, so please.
I'm Derek Bridges. I'm the Planning Services Chief for IDOT District 5.
I'm Dan McGee. I'm the local roads federal aid coordinator for the district for IDOT.
Jerry Stokes, McLean County engineer.
You guys know me. Tom.
Tom Caldwell, IDOT. I'm your Metropolitan Planning Manager.
Kevin Cosey, City Engineer of Bloomington.
Jason Comfort, I'm the Operations Manager for Town and Normal Public Works.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is public comments. I don't see any members of public. And then approval of minutes from the December 20th meeting. Questions, comments? All right. Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Second.
Questions, comments? Discussion? None? Okay. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
It's been approved. Next items, in fact, the next few items related to district-wide projects, and then if you don't mind, Derek, 5 to 7. 8, I'm sorry.
Amendment 27 is one of the Illinois 9 projects. It's decreased funding for PD Phase 1 and 2. Amendment 28 and 29 deal with the Carlock Way Stations. 28 deals with the demolition of the old way station in the building of the new way station. So it's an additional line item. And Amendment 29 is a funding type change and an increase in funding. The increase in funding is from $1 million to $1.4 million. And I have what it was before, but now it's NHPP state and state match. Amendment 30 is Gregory Bowles and Olive. It's an additional construction engineering in FY26 for that project.
Any questions, comments, discussions? Right. Unless there's objections, we can probably take this as a group. That's okay. So amendments 27 through amendment 30, and so I'll take motion.
Move approval.
Okay, Kevin. Second. Further discussions? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's been approved. So going to item number 9 on the agenda, this is kind of something you have seen before. This is like a kind of almost like annual, and so I'll have Jen to kind of talk about it. And the deadline of this back to IDOT for the MPOs will be end of next month. Later.
So we're getting ahead of that, Kate.
Yeah.
As I'm sure many of you will recall, each year the state reformulates its targets for satisfaction of the PM1 performance measures and targets. If you look on the back page of this, that chart is the new chart that was approved by IDOT last fall. That gives us 6 months to follow suit. And as we have done in the past, we are in this resolution concurring with the IDOT targets and pointing out that although we can't hit those same direct targets because they're done in percentages, and we can't achieve a 2% percentage change here in Bloomington normal because the numbers are too low. So we're just sort of acknowledging the difference between the percentage goal or target and what we can actually achieve here realistically, but it's all the aid of helping the state meet its goals. So that's exactly how we've done it in the past several years. And this goes, of course, to the policy committee for execution, and then we'll get it back to IDOT. And that will be our target setting, concurring with IDOT for the current year. And all we're asking for you to do here is pass along to the policy committee.
I might point out, when this was initiated, I'll say 5 years ago, there were a few MPs. The majority have always adopted stakes, but a few, the celebrity Kuwats, Champaign Urbana, and maybe a few others had attempted set their own, desiring, they thought, to be more aggressive than the 2% reduction. They felt that wasn't a good signal to the public that the only 2%. Well, they made them. They're now adopting the 2% because they just recognize that it's just more simple and challenging, very challenging. So the majority still adopt the states.
Good to know. Yeah, thanks for the update. Yeah. Any further discussion? Okay. So I'll take a motion, I guess, for recommendation to the policy committee. Okay, Derek.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The proposal will be referred to the policy committee. Item number 10 on the agenda, project update. I have, and then before I hand it over to Jen for separate item, and most of you should be aware of the Veterans Parkway Corridor project. So we are into the public engagement phase, and we have a survey that's going on and is due for completion before the February 10th. And some of you got flyers already, but it's bilingual, English and Spanish. And if you haven't received it yet, some extra copies, or I can email you the electronic version, and just let me know. Please share with your network, special people. It's not just for people in Bloomington normal, because we recognize that people coming in and from the rural area, out to the rural area, they use, go to the airport, they use Veterans Parkway. People from even further out in other counties, they do, take Veterans Parkway. So really it's not just for the urban area or just for the location of the parkway, but it's people who do utilize this major expressway. So please get the word out. And then we have a project stream committee, as someone you serve on that committee, and the work also with assistance by the consultants from TYD. So just asking for your help to get the word out. Next thing in terms of I guess project update in kind of a project, could be potentially a project. There's a federal grant program called Protect. It's a long thing. And Jen, I have Jen to go into a little bit more deeper. But then IDOT is thinking of having a consultant to do this federal grant application. It's related to transportation, and Jen will talk a little bit more in detail. For all the MPOs, so there's like a group application, if you will, to the feds. And so we've been asked to provide some information and just see how it works out, and then the information will be packaged together by IDOT, but they got a consultant helping them with that. So Jen can provide us a little bit more detail, please.
Okay. Resilience. Right. Yes. So this is the Protect grant opportunity from our friends at Federal Highway. And as you can see on the top of that first page of the packet, protecting resilient operations for transformative, efficient, and cost-saving transportation programs. And what the communication we got from IDOT on the Office of Planning and Programming was that IDOT is planning to work with a consulting firm to essentially do a state plan that it would incorporate individual plans for each of the MPOs. And so what they've asked us to do is, first of all, make you familiar with this. We're not doing this directly, it would be through the state. And then part of the reason we're asking about this now is that we have a deadline of next Friday to submit some materials. The second page, and I'm going to ask you to think about this like over the long weekend, is a questionnaire from IDOT for us, from which we will need information from you if we're going to proceed. So, there's a lot of stuff here about whether any of the participants in our MPO have certain types of plans, have certain programs that are going forward that fit in with this. Basically, a sense of where we are on this topic and where the individual jurisdictions are in order to give IDOT a better clue as to what our situation is before they move forward. Obviously, I'm not going to ask for anything on this today because I just mentioned it just now. But if you have a chance, we would like to set up, did we say Teams? Really? Some sort of
Teams fine, it's fine.
Right.
If that's okay.
Sometime, after the holiday on Monday. So sort of early to mid next week to see if anyone has anything they want to throw into this in terms of responding to IDOT. You can also get in touch by email with me, and I'll just sort of make a note of what we have. And then we'll see where we are. Log about Wednesday. Actually, Thursday, because I will be in spring.
Tuesday or Thursday.
Right. So we can get it back to our community by Friday or on Friday. I know people have plans for the weekend and stuff like that. I'm not asking you to toss everything aside, but if you have a chance to look this over and just see if you can think of anything in your own situations, where that might be applicable, or there's some nexus between this and the program description, that would be really helpful for us to get back to IDOT, seeing if they want to put us on the list. Or either that or we have nothing and we would be starting from zero, which can also happen. But I would appreciate your time to look this over and see if you have anything to add.
Yeah, for city, town, county, since you are all here, it may be a certain time that works best for you, either Tuesday or Thursday, because Jay and I will be in Springfield with our IDOT MPO meeting all day, so that we don't have to create any time, probably half an hour, I would think.
Yes.
Your time, your Tuesday or Thursday.
I guess I looked at this grant before, but what kind of projects would our MPO be looking at for this?
Yeah.
When it says resilience to natural hazards, climate change, sea level rise, flooding, and extreme weather events.
This is very much aimed at the coastal.
Yeah. We might have sandstorm, but Tom, I think you share some highlights or light.
Well, I agree with Jerry.
Unless we're going to.
Projects are already designed to be as worthy as possible with whatever the elements may dictate, whether it's a new Madrid or they aren't, because Sempo down there at Cape Girardeau were just discussing the same thing, and just 2 days ago, and what one might come up with is just a question. It's.
I think for just our locals, I'm thinking, okay, we got culverts that are probably undersized, or places, bridges, different places need riprap and that type of stuff. But that's not what they're looking for. That's just maintenance stuff like that. And unless we're going to go riprap all Sugar Creek all the way down through there, do something like that, I don't. Personally, I don't. Yeah, we can look over this, but I just. I don't know what.
I'm thinking the same thing, Jerry. We've got the all hazard mitigation plan,
right,
with McLean County EMA, and we've applied for some BRIC grants, from FEMA, for building resilient infrastructure in communities and stuff. I think that's more appropriate in a way than this. I mean, this is looking for evacuation routes and, that type of thing, I think. And, I don't see where we really qualify for
It's
this.
sort of a kitchen sink thing. Anything they might not have thought of, they're going to go out and see what people have. And, I had sort of the same reaction. I was thinking the EMA thing too. And if you've all come to the conclusion, if you know of nothing that's responsive to these questions we have from IDOT, they're asking us to identify the MPO participants' activities. And that's kind of why we're asking the question today, to make sure we're not missing anything that you've already done. And then we'll see what IDOT decides to do.
Yeah.
I do have a thought. Is the information network around both cities good enough in case a tanker drops on one of the interstate routes and you have to evacuate half the town? Do we have either IT technology need to be updated anywhere in there that this could be an avenue for funding? I mean, I got stuck a bunch of stuff out there anyway, but do you have all that benefit? Yes, is probably the answer.
There's, I'm sure, always opportunity for improvement there. I mean,
Yeah.
You guys all got your license plate through your rights, right?
We do.
You do? Well, everybody else got them. That's what I hope you do.
Yeah. No, we've had them for a while. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's what I was thinking was that Springfield has problems with dust storms on the north end of town, so that's the only natural event I could think of that would happen in this area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's little odd men things like you say with the dust storms, or even really bad.
Tornadoes.
Yeah.
We saw in
Tornadoes.
Washington.
Yeah.
Earthquakes, possible.
Yeah. I think so.
I was stopped at one 5 years ago. Those dust storms.
Yeah, so was Ray.
Almost, yeah. When it hit Springfield, I was actually in that stretch the night before. So when all the 70 people got killed or something. Yeah. It's, and this is like a group, Tom, is this like a group application? I know, or they actually have one consultant, but for individual MPOs, and they would have like one consultant to do application for each.
I know no more than the email that we all received. Yes.
Okay.
Other than people trying to, when they hear protect, and we never hear what it means, other than just resiliency. And that's.
I got the impression from Brandon's email that it was intended to be a state-directed project,
So
which would include these components for the MPOs. And I guess this was just an attempt to figure out.
designing for the unknown is.
Well, and absolutely, and just since, dust storms, isn't that a relatively new phenomenon in central Illinois? We don't know what we confront.
Well, Springfield had one, we had in West Town, I'm gonna say 5 years ago, and then one last year, and I was detoured on that one, was south of town. And they're all spring, and it's when,
the fields.
When they're discounted.
But as you say, we never know what might come up.
Yeah.
But it's
climate
difficult to
thing,
plan.
yeah.
I assume they're looking for like a $10 million plus project at least.
Considering that they're looking to hand out $400 million, I mean, of course, that's nationwide, but still, this is not a nickel and dime kind of project. But this is why we're asking you.
Well, they're trying to get it done before it's deleted.
Yes,
Right.
that occurred to us as well.
Right.
Could be one day.
So
Just sort of,
so what?
let's hold off on setting up a meeting and we'll
Okay.
let you know next week. And if you just take a chance to spend a few minutes and see if anything sort of shouts to you is, oh, we actually have that in this form, just let me know, send me an email or whatever, and we can go from there.
I was going to say, do you want to reach out to connect?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, because, it says transportation type is bike ped,
Yeah.
maritime, roadway, and transit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if transit has, some idea of something that would be helpful to them,
Do you have any,
They do that.
and it is very much so as with tornadoes, it's amazing how Littleton, they're very,
Selective.
yeah, but they hit the same areas. So
Yeah.
you're either, is McLean County, have they had tornado activity?
McLean County has a lot of it.
Yeah.
Bloomington Normal tends not to.
Mm-hmm.
They skirt around the west edge of town and
Yeah.
land in Lake Bloomington. And it's geology. It's basically the topography of the area kind of helps steer them.
Whatever it
And
is.
we just got lucky in the configuration here. I don't know about the eastern part of the country.
Oh, that,
They get the stuff all the
Yeah,
time.
they're-
Yeah.
well, because there was that one storm that came through in the middle of the night, and I can't remember what year it was. Gary, you might remember, but overnight, it was when Peoria was still the forecast office for
Right.
the National Weather, and overnight there had been like 24 tornadoes touch down, and they all missed Bloomington except for the one that went down Grove Street. Had like a tail, and it busted off the tops of the trees and broke the windows on some homes, but that was all the damage it did. But they went up the next day by helicopter or plane, and they counted 24 pathways through the county where they could see the corn and beans knocked down. It was like in the middle of July or probably July 4th or something like that. But most of the damage was just like grain bins and stuff and fields knocked down. But there was 24 that one night. The storm came through Peoria, wasn't doing anything. It was just a thunderstorm. By the time it got here, like at 2 or 3 in the morning, it generated 24 tornadoes in the county. That was the biggest outbreak I remember.
Last year we had a tornado where it took out 6 miles of one of the transmission lines
Right,
up there and
yes.
stuff. I don't know if that was more straight line winds.
Yeah, shear winds are different than a tornado.
Yeah.
Right. So
We have had interesting experience with the straight line winds.
Yeah, the duration.
You know, it- 60 miles an hour that all of a sudden things are falling over. I was thinking with tornadoes that a lot of that response would be the emergency management folks.
It
They've
is.
already got
Right, yeah.
a whole huge
Like
gargantuan
you-
plan.
I still have, I've been one run my whole life, we've had frequent wireless, but, tornado watch, is it tornado warning? Which one is, is that the get down base, or is that the one we can get out? They aren't,
I don't move until the sirens go off, basically, is what it comes down to, I think. And anyone who comes into this part of the country from where the tornadoes are not common, they're always confused. And
what is confusing? It's just.
well, I think that, and this isn't just for tornadoes, the difference between watch and warning is watch, it could happen, warning, it's here. And,
Then say that. It's here.
that's what the word, and that's what the sirens mean.
Well, that's-
They
it's
test
the
our
way it
sirens
is
once a
for-
month.
Ever.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yeah, I mean,
moving along.
yeah, we heard you, and if you have any further thoughts, just let Jen know. But if you have further thoughts too, going back to Dan's idea, I think that's a valid thing too. How much it costs, just for the internet, broadband, especially in the rural areas. I just had a meeting at 9 this morning on Johnny broadband stuff. It's costly. Just to build that network, especially for emergency for the smaller communities too.
I guess it looks like there's 2022 and 2023 grant awards on here, so maybe we should take a look at that and see if that spurs some idea.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
type of-
yeah.
Yeah, words, yeah. Yeah, good point.
See what they're looking at.
And if you go to the stuff that you got online as part of the packet, it's probably a live one.
Yeah. I wonder if we got like a foot or two of like snow storm, would this qualify as?
I think we have to treat that as our own problem,
Okay.
unless you're talking about like a regional blizzard with,
Okay.
I've never heard of a larger, other than getting the plows and working response. Unless somebody's utterly snowed in.
Yeah, that late 70s we had that. They actually brought a train from Montana to clear the tracks because the railroad couldn't operate.
Yeah.
They brought this giant plow up, because the drifts were like 20 feet deep on the railroad, and
Yeah.
they couldn't move.
Yeah.
Amtrak was stopped. But that was very rare. That was in the late 70s.
And, it's been 50 years and we simply don't get as much snow
Right.
routinely as we used to. So,
But the ice storms can be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, a few years ago, we had one where we had 40 streets closed in Bloomington because of power lines down or trees down. So we get that. Once again, that's more of a response of emergency services and public works to, close down streets and make sure everybody's safe. So until the power company can get in and we can get the trees cleared out.
yeah, that's really the substantial play is the power company having capacity to get around everything. It's much.
So yeah, if any thoughts, ideas, please contact Jen maybe by Tuesdays, because in case there's like further questions, we can ask IDOT on Wednesday because we're going down to Springfield, so we can ask the person who's kind of coordinating for IDOT. And then we'll check with Connect Transit also.
Sure.
Maybe we'll have a conversation with even EMA. I just brainstorm briefly, just see what their thoughts are. Okay, any other project updates, anybody?
I had one.
Yeah.
It didn't trigger an amendment or administrative, but we did have a project moved to an earlier letting. Usually it moves later, but we actually had one moved to an earlier letting. It's HMLT 2025-1, the lighting project. It's been on 2 of the last 3 meetings, I think, for being added and being increased in cost. It's moving up to April 25 from June. So it's the 7451 interchange and on 51 from 74 to Filbert Road. That's a lighting project, and it's getting moved up.
But it's been properly approved in the tip.
Yep.
Derek, is there any update like on the lighting for Route 9 for East Empire?
I actually have that with me.
Because I think originally that was on March lighting.
Yeah, I can get with you on that.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah. Got a programming meeting next week. I rarely attend, but every once in a while I gotta look at it.
You said that was a January.
What?
The project he's talking about.
You just said it was on March, or April.
Oh, okay.
It's now on April instead of June.
That was our hours on that.
I was curious about, 51 project too. That was,
May I advise if you do wind up with seeking a grant for this, we just talked about it a few minutes ago. We have 3 raised grants in the district right now, one for soy, Brandon just got awarded, and I forgot Danville's or Decatur's the other one. But the raised grants, we just got one for here in town, but anyway, the raised grants, the process to get that grant executed, the agreement executed, and we're in a year with soy already. So it's taking a while to actually secure the funding, even though, and there's still a chance to lose it. So you might ask that question: how is those funds being disseminated? Are they going to go through the feds, which is what's taking forever, or are they being passed through IDOT? No, I know it would be a little faster because we have our own process to process funds. So, that's a thought.
Okay. So for us, as some of you may know, we for our race grant, IDOT on paper is the recipient, the grant recipient. But then we, MCRPC, is the first tier sub-recipient, just all this terminology. But then we are the one who kind of running the project in a way with oversight by IDOT. It's a kind of unusual type of arrangement, although we did put the application together and set it in, and initially our name is the grant recipient, but when we did the grant agreement, is those 2 separate identifications. And but we will be working, Jen, but we put together budget, work with the IDOT, the accounting people, and also the Fed. So it's a kind of complicated, unusual process because IDOT is not used to, because it's their role, your role. And also IDOT is putting a lot of money for our race grant project. And so IDOT's been collecting, because we have local contributions, from different partners. And so so those money have gone to IDOT, so there's a pot of money sitting there. So whenever we got invoices, we got to bill them, but then and they're getting reimbursement from the feds. It's a kind of complicated, don't mean to go into details, it's a complicated on that race. 3 and 4 estimates. So we we're testing, how it's been working out last few months.
And taking it down to the local level. If you're at the farmer's market tomorrow morning, you'll see me there with a poster pushing the survey. So
Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
And we also got through South Star. So we also got like interviews by TV stations and radio stations to get the word out. When we did we separate from transportation, but when we did a regional housing survey about a year ago, we had over 1,200 responses. So I hope for the veterans probably we got more than that. And like responses from all over the county, urban and rural.
yeah, the survey opened on New Year's Day. And I think the last time they gave us a number, it was 250 or something like that, 270. So it's off to a start. I wouldn't call it booming, but we're sort of looking at every avenue we can take. So you'll start seeing posters and signs and flyers and stuff in the windows and stuff in your inbox.
So that bus, transit buses.
Yeah, right, on the buses. So Ray mentioned this is scheduled to go through February 10th, but there's a Bike Lorno Friends of the Trail thing later in February. So we may push it out a little bit, sort of a, guess what, you have more time thing, and see if we can pull in the bike community and see what we find out.
Any other announcements?
I think I found some of what he was looking for. So Illinois 9, that would be the west of 1 Avenue to Carnahan.
Yeah.
That is right now showing April. And then this is the latest packet I just printed out this morning.
Yeah.
There's a meeting Tuesday. Sometimes they can say it could move back.
Okay.
If it does, I'll let you know.
Okay.
51, the bridge deck overlay over pedestrian parkway, or pedestrian walkway over 1.9 miles south of 55.
College Avenue, and it's the other way around. It's a roadway over the pedestrian stuff that's in the town.
Okay. So this is the 51 project over pedestrian walkway, 1.9 miles south of 555 normal. It's June. And then the job that I said just moved, it's still showing June in the packet, so they'll tell me it moved up. So that this may not be entirely accurate.
Okay.
And Gregor Bowles to all of Street of Bloomington shows too.
Okay.
That's 51.
Thank you.
And then I think I have another one. Illinois 9, Mulberry to Maine, Locust Empire, Center to Locust. That's showing November.
Yeah. With my work. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see all the bids come in.
Thanks, Derek. Anything else, anybody? Please.
Actually, Thursday next week at 2 o'clock, I'll be in a virtual meeting. IDOT wants to set up some seminars throughout the state, in-person seminars, to talk about safe routes to school and high-tech projects again, like they did a couple years ago, or maybe last year. I know that they're shooting for Tuscola being one of the locations, but they do plan on doing several locations to the district, but that's our planning meeting.
Yeah, we've been contacted about that.
Okay.
And who might have a location or a venue that can be used for this.
Yep. All right. So it's coming.
Betsy isn't, think here. I guess it wasn't here. It was enough. Anyway, a replacement. Betsy's replacement is now employed since actually December 1. Anna Mutual, as in Stan the Man, Mutual, formerly with East West Gateway, and been there for 15 or more years. So a number of us are familiar with her. Is now the Illinois Division FHWA planning liaison for your MPO for MCRPC. So, and she'll be, I'm kind of surprised she's wanting to get to all of them, all the MPOs, but she'll be good. It's a good news for the MPOs.
Mostly for Betsy.
Yes,
She's pretty smart.
Yeah. So hopefully Anna can join us at the policy next Friday.
I'll make a special mailing for her since she's new to the list.
Yeah. So Betsy is still the team leader, and she stays on for the Veterans Parkway. She stays on as the liaison rep for FHWA on the project steering committee. But Anna's will be the new person, as Tom indicated. They'll be kind of our liaison for NPO stuff. All right. Any other announcements? Thanks. So our next scheduled meeting will be February 21st. And I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Jerry.
Second.
Kevin. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Enjoy a nice warm Friday afternoon. Maybe Saturday, but not Sunday, right?
It's gonna be cold tomorrow too.
Yeah, it's colder
This
than
conference is no longer being recorded.
Back.